because I believe every woman has a story to tell. And we all have so much more in common than we think. These are the women next to me.
Hi, welcome to another episode of The Women Next to Me. I'm so excited to be interviewing this woman that's next to me on the computer. This podcast or this series is all about connecting women in ways that maybe we didn't realize we were connected. So I think that this story, a lot of you are going to just love, and I'm really excited to share it. So do you want to introduce yourself and tell me a little bit about who you are?
Sure. My name is Nikki Osterloh. I have 2 kids that I birthed and 1 bonus son. That was my husband's before we got married. And I live here in Yorkville. I grew up here. I went to college for marketing, and I do the fundraising for Casa County.
Love it.
I can't think of anything else about me.
And you have a really super cute dog that keeps walking around the background sometimes. I love it. All right. And so every episode, the women share their go-to coffee mug. So do you want to show us your go-to coffee mug?
Sure. This is my go-to coffee mug. For Casa, who I work for, we go to conferences every year. Well, not last year, but usually we go to a big conference every year, and it's really awesome. If you don't know what Casa is, it's court-appointed special advocates, and we advocate for abused and neglected kids in the area. But it's nationwide. So we have this huge conference where everyone comes together, and there's all these adults who are foster kids talking about how like Casa and caseworkers and everything coming together made a big difference in their life. So anyway, my very first conference was in Seattle, and that's where Casa originated actually. And it's my favorite city that I've ever been to. If you've never been there, you should go there because it is beautiful and everyone's so nice there. Oh, I love it. I would move there if I could. But when I was there, my family's from there that I had never met before. So thanks to social media, I connected with my aunt and cousin, who I maybe met when I was a baby, but I'm 34 now, so I don't know. I don't remember them, obviously. And they met up with me there so I could meet them as adults. And that was really cool. So we went shopping, and while we were shopping, I picked up this beautiful coffee mug, and it's just so happy because it's got the whole, like all the Seattle things. And look at the inside. How
That's
freaking
awesome. I love it.
That makes me really happy because it reminds me of all of that whole day was just like the best day ever.
Oh, I love that so much. And so now Casa, so people know too, I'll put a link on it when I share your story, but you guys provide trainings if people want to get involved as a volunteer basis and be like a court appointed person to represent people, correct? Or like just kind of help guide them through the process. Yeah. So I'll link that because I think that what you guys do is so amazing. And I know that there's people that want to get involved with things like that don't even know that they exist. So
yes, that would be great. Thank you.
I love that it's spread. I didn't know that it was nationwide. So there, I learned something else too. That's so cool. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's kind of jump into your story. So we're going to do a reverse question. We're going to talk about your most phenomenal woman first, or the most impactful woman in your life. So who has been the most impactful woman in your life?
Okay, so the most impactful woman in my life is my best friend, Lindsay. We've been best friends since we were 12, and we're 34 now. So I'm not going to math. That's a long time. Over 20 years. Over 20 years. And she has been the most influential person in my life because she's just so incredibly strong and amazing. She's been going through infertility issues for 5 or 6 years now, and everyone knows that infertility is like such a taboo topic, which is so strange to me. Like, I don't know, I understand why, because it's awkward and no one wants to talk about it, and it's sad, and it's just like something no one ever talks about for some reason. But she has made it a goal of hers to talk about it and get people talking about it in the community. So everything she's been going through, she's been posting it on her Facebook and Instagram, and through that giving other people a voice who, like, she found out that some people have been going through IVF for years and that she's friends with and had no idea because they don't talk about it. No one says anything about it. And we know so many people that have had miscarriages, but that's another thing no one talks about. And it's so sad because you should tell your friends and have like a support system, and so she's putting it all out there. She told everyone her story, and through that she's been getting messages from people, that strangers and friends of hers that she didn't even know were going through the exact same thing, and through that she's been able to be like a person for them, going through it, and just someone to talk to. And that's huge, because I know that it's so, like, through her posting that, people are commenting on it saying like, oh yeah, I got my baby through IVF, and we struggled for years, and everyone's all connecting about it. And it's just so heartwarming to see, because that's something that you should have a support system for. That's huge.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, so that is like so inspiring, because I know it's hard. It's got to be hard to talk about it. Like, she's had countless losses, and that's a long time of your life to be trying to have a baby. So I know that it's super hard to talk about. And so the fact that she's just putting it all out there and getting people talking about it, even if it's just locally here, like, that's so cool to me, that you could be going through so much but wanting to help other people at the same time. That's super inspirational.
I agree with that 100%. And I think that, there is this taboo about it, that maybe people feel less than because of it, and they shouldn't feel like that. And, this just speaks volumes to this whole point of this podcast, or this, whatever you call this video series. I don't even know what it's called, but that, there's just so much room for connection. And these women that we see on social media, or that we see in our day-to-day life, we just don't even know maybe what they're dealing with, because it's hard to talk about sometimes, but sometimes it just takes that one person to open up to then bring this whole web of connection and support to people. So I love that. I'm fully in support of what she's doing, and I'm really glad that she's able to share. So that does lead into the next part of your story, which is why you were nominated as a woman next to me. And I'm so happy that somebody did share your name with me. So do you want to, start where you want to start, and let's hear where having your best friend for this long and listening to what she's gone through now has led you to this part of this new chapter of your life.
Yes. So years ago, when they were first struggling, I offered to carry their baby for them. I love being pregnant. I had really easy pregnancies. So I was like, let me just do this for you. Like, I didn't even think twice about it. Like, I've heard of surrogacy, but I didn't know anyone that did it. But I was like, it's no big deal, right? Like, you just mix up your baby batter and stick it in, and I have it for you, right? Like, no big deal. Well, they wanted to keep trying themselves, so they did for the last few years. And finally, she took me up on my offer. So I'm 12 weeks pregnant this week. Will be 13 weeks with their baby, Lindsay, and her husband, Doug. And it's been quite an experience. I think when I offered to do that, I didn't fully know everything that was involved in this. But I'm really glad of all the things that I've gotten to experience, because I had to do IVF also, which I didn't know that you would have to do being a surrogate. So I've had to do everything that comes along with doing fertility cycle. Like, I had to do all of these shots. I think 77 was the number that I counted at the end. 77 shots in my butt.
Oh my God.
The needles are like this long. If you know anybody who's done IVF, they'll tell you that those butt shots are no joke. And then there's shots that you have to give yourself in the stomach. There's all kinds of pills, and it's like a whole thing. And then going to get ultrasounds every couple of days, and it's just like a big whole process that I'm mind blown that women all over are doing this for years. Like, holy crap, it's so hard. It was really hard. Like,
yeah. And so in the state of Illinois, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but we had my ex-sister-in-law and I had looked into this a while ago. And isn't it also like not only the physical stuff, but don't you have to go through like a psychological test?
mm-hmm.
And what other processes outside of the physical IVF did you guys have to go through to get okay? Because it's not just a, hey, I'm going to carry your baby for you. Like, there's a lot that has to be done for Illinois to say, okay, you can be a surrogate.
Mm-hmm. There is a lot. We each had to get lawyers. They made the contract, and then that is a super long process, because there's so many things like you would never even think of that need to be in this contract. Like, what happens if the bio parents die before the baby's born? Like, would we be willing to take care of like, things like this that are like life-changing decisions that obviously we hope don't happen, but like you have to make decisions like that in the contract. And then, so that took a while. And then the psychological testing, me and my husband both had to go get psych tests. And then so did her and her husband, to make sure that we're all, you know, mentally prepared for this, because I think a lot of people aren't. It is, I can see how it would be hard, and emotionally hard for anybody. Like, it's a big deal to do that. I mean, you're literally carrying a human, like how, so they're asking you questions like trying to see if you getting attached to it would make a difference in your decision and things like that. And I mean, of course I'm going to get attached to this baby because I'm extreme babysitting for my niece or nephew right now, who is, you know, I'm going to be Aunt Nikki. So I'm going to be attached, but not in like a weird, I'm not giving you your baby kind of way. And so they have to make sure that you're like mentally stable for that, for those reasons. And then what else did we have to do? We had lots of consultations with the doctors at first, with the fertility clinic. I had to get cleared with my regular doctor. Actually, when we first started this, I was, during getting tests done, blood tests done, they found out that I was pre-diabetic. And I'm like, oh crap, because you have to have a lot of medical clearance for this. Not anyone can just do it.
Right?
Like,
not
to be in pretty perfect health. And so I had to get my A1C down a lot. And I ended up, just from intermittent fasting and low carb eating, I dropped 25 pounds in like a month, because I was determined to do this. And that completely changed everything around. So I'm not pre-diabetic anymore. I'm like, I have a clean bill of health, and they gave me the okay to go ahead and do it. So that was a challenge. And then I'm trying to think, I think that's pretty much all. We tried to do one round. So when they first start doing it, you have to be on all of the meds and do all of the things that you would do if you were regular IVF, because they want to give it the best chance. So they give you like, pump you full of hormones and all kinds of stuff, which was real fun. I was crying a lot. It was pretty funny. But all the medicines and stuff actually did not help me. I kept having to go get ultrasounds to look at my lining of my uterus, and it was actually deteriorating with those medicines. So we had a transfer date and everything, and ended up having to cancel it because of that, which is like such a bummer, because I went through a whole month of all this stuff for nothing then. And then so they decided to try like a natural cycle, which was just the booty shots and a couple other pills instead of like the whole thing. And that ended up working great. Like, my body's like, I don't need all these drugs, I'm ready for a baby, go ahead, like, I'm fertile myrtle over here. So that one worked, and the transfer was successful, and everything's going good now. So
okay,
here we are.
Have you guys had a lot of ultrasounds then, like recently, or just in the beginning?
Yeah, we have a lot. We actually just switched. We just got dismissed from the fertility clinic to a regular OB. And then they did an ultrasound for the first appointment, and Doug and Lindsay both got to be there, which was great, because most of the time we have to do Zoom.
COVID.
Yeah, which is a real bummer. Like, obviously they want to be there to see what's happening. It really sucks. It really sucks not being able to have them. Having a baby during COVID times is tough enough, but like having one where the parents of the baby can't even be there to see what's happening is like sad. But so they got to be there for the first OB appointment, which was great.
Okay, do you guys know the sex of the baby yet?
No, we do not know yet. So when you have IVF, you actually get to choose. I guess they let you pick. But she didn't want to do that. So she was just like, well, that's fine. Just pick a random one and we'll find out when it's time. So I think they're gonna find out next week.
Oh my gosh,
because it's killing me. I want to know.
Yeah, right. I was gonna find out. I was gonna ask if it was gonna be a surprise or if you guys are gonna find out. So that's super exciting. And then you're delivering local. Have they talked about that at the hospital? If we're still how we are, when's the due date?
Due date is August 19th.
Oh my gosh, so 19th.
We'll be delivering at Copley. So I'm not sure what their protocol is, but our doctor is awesome, and he seems very like he said that they both can come to appointments when it's ultrasounds, and because otherwise they're just boring, checkup
Yeah, they don't
appointments.
need to see all that.
They don't need them. Yeah, those are boring anyway. But it sounds like they'll be able to be there. I think he said that they should both be able to be in there. I've been doing a lot of research, and other states are letting that happen. So I'm really hoping that ours, and it depends. Like, so I'm in a bunch of Facebook groups with other surrogates, and I've actually made a few friends who are surrogates too, which is cool. Or friends I already had that also are being surrogates. I'm like, wow, this is like really cool, because I didn't think this was something that was common, and I have 2 friends that are doing it too right now. So it's been cool to connect and talk with them about it. But in some states, they're like, no, you can have one. So hopefully they both get to be there. I'm hoping by August things will be a little, I mean, the vaccination has been rolled out now, so like, hopefully.
Well, I'm just flabbergasted. Like, what a selfless gift for you to give your friend. And I love that you guys are going to like share this connection now for the rest of your life. And, even though you're growing their baby, I'm sure that you're still going to get to be such a huge part of its life. And I think that that's amazing in and of itself too, right? So, wow.
For sure.
You are amazing. Now I feel like I want to get her on too and like hear her side of it. So I might be reaching out for information to talk to her, and maybe down the road we can do a follow-up and have both you guys on there with the baby.
Yes, that would be so fun.
I would love that, and see how the next, how I don't do math either. So 28 weeks, is that your countdown?
Something like that, yeah.
Sure. Well, thank you so much for being on here with me today. Like, what an amazing, amazing story. And you are an amazing human. And thank you for just supporting women like you do in your, life with Casa and now with your friend. And you're amazing. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yes. And I'm so glad that somebody nominated you so that we got to share your story with the world. So anyway, have a great rest of your day. And thank you everybody else for watching this episode of The Women Next to Me.